the Radio Forest Podcast.
Yeah, this is Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams, how are you, man?
I'm great, thank you.
Or is it Ricky Myron?
Eric Meyer.
Is that your full legal name then?
That's my government name now, yep.
Well, congratulations on taking your wife's name, man. Was that a hard decision?
No, it was actually quite easy. I learned from my first marriage, that people joke about it, but it's true. Happy wife, happy life. And so I'm always looking for creative ways to create more peace and love and harmony in my marriage, and this was the easy way to do it.
I completely get it. When I got married, my wife was going to take my last name. She said, well, would you be willing to take mine? And I had to think about it. I'm like, wow, that would only be fair. But yeah, it doesn't fit the norm. And I actually had to pause and think about it for a second. It wouldn't make a big deal. But I mean, your name's, worth quite a bit to you and the community. So
I've reflected on my life, and I asked myself, what value do I really have to offer the world? And I realized I have a platform. So if I do something, there's a chance it gets picked up and it starts conversation. And so I saw an opportunity to add to the conversation about equality and just having these conversations, and the amount of people, when I do interviews now, usually this is the first question. And so
it is?
It's exciting.
Oh, damn it. I don't want to ask the first question that everybody does.
No, but people approach it differently, and it's a different conversation. Like you sharing that you and your wife had that conversation. Mm-hmm. And I've had so many people, I've had women come up to me and say that they had that same conversation with their husband, and the husband was like, hell no, and they were kind of pissed off about it. So, I mean, I just love having these kinds of conversations. So
we're talking to Ricky Williams from the NFL, former player, Heisman Trophy winner, Longhorns player. With all the injuries you had some big guys in the NFL, and you're a big guy yourself, and you're running incredible distances. So when you have breaks and sprains and strains and soreness, do you worry about, going through the regimen of ibuprofen and Tylenol and putting that stuff in your body? So what do you do to heal from some of the injuries that you've had? I know you have some different views on holistic approaches and things like that.
Yeah. So I actually, studied Ayurveda and I studied Chinese medicine. And the main difference between those forms of medicine is they're more preventative. Whereas in more allopathic medicine, which really grew during the Civil War, right, where people were getting limbs blown off and dealing with infectious disease, that it had to be more reactionary. And so the difference, like you said, with NSAIDs or ibuprofen and Indocin and Toradol, what a lot of football players take, is that their job is to mask the pain. And that's great because you feel good and you can be more effective, but it's not conducive to staying healthy. Whereas when I use cannabis, and I use cannabis more for mental health, it really helped me get to know who I was on the inside better. And the physical benefits were a side effect that I really didn't know about or expect. And they were more subtle. I was just more in touch with myself. And so I knew how to stretch or what to attend to so that it wouldn't get hurt. People nowadays are talking a lot about mindfulness. And it's based on this idea that if we're mindful of something, we don't have to act it out or we don't have to do something before we respond to it. And so as an athlete, if you're more aware of your body, then you know how to take care of it so there's less chance that you actually get hurt.
Ricky, let me jump back real quick to the University of Texas. How did you juggle playing minor league baseball, football, and schooling, and then having some sort of life on top of that? One of those things is a full plate, especially playing football for a university that big. How did you also play minor league baseball for a team that's not in Texas?
I'm one of those people where if my plate isn't full, then I feel like something's wrong. And I just need a lot of variety and a lot of balance in my life. And so it was really great to be at the University of Texas and to be coddled and taken care of and put on a pedestal, and then spend my summers, in a bus traveling around podunk towns playing baseball every day. It was kept me humble, got me in really good shape. It was wonderful. And I got to miss hot summer workouts at Texas.
So what was harder listening to yourself? Was it harder to say no to the Rangers and enter the NFL? Or was it harder to say no to the NFL and head your own path?
No, it's a great question. And they're related. I think I remember the moment where I had said no to the Rangers because my dream as a child, I grew up in San Diego, big Tony Gwynn fan. And my dream as a child was to be a professional baseball player. And it wasn't until I got into middle school and I started watching Notre Dame on NBC that I became a huge college football fan. And so when the scouts were recruiting me for baseball and football, I told all of them, I said, I'm a baseball player, but I really want to have the college football experience. And then I had the college football experience, and it went better than expected. And so I had a difficult choice to make. And so I had to give up my dream of baseball. And it was rough. But the decision to give up football was, I think, more difficult because I remember the moment I decided to retire. They say before you die that your whole life flashes in front of you. And I wasn't dying, but at the time I was killing myself as a football player, as a famous football player. And so I saw like my whole life flash in front of me. And I realized that, a large majority of my meaningful experiences in life were attached to me as a football player. And I realized that from here on out, my life is going to be completely different. So it was more difficult, but it was also much more rewarding because I got to live a life that I had been ignoring as a football player.
Early on, and this is early 90s, mid 90s, when emails became a thing, very early in your college career, you decide to have the word Heisman in your college email address. Talk me through that when you thought, hey, this is a goal, because that's right around the time that you're playing some minor league baseball. So are you struggling with, I want the Heisman, but I also want to play for the Rangers or somebody like that?
I was playing baseball, but, once I got into college, to me, I always feel like my goal is to aim to be the best. And so I said, if I'm going to be here, why not have being the best is one of my goals. And I didn't expect that, going into my senior year, that I would actually have an opportunity to be the all-time leading rusher in college football history, all-time leading scorer, and all-time leading purpose yards in college football history. But I had the opportunity, and my sense was if I can knock out all these records, it's going to be really hard for them not to give me the Heisman Trophy. It was funny because back in 1995, I didn't even really know what email was. And so I was scrambling to pick a name, and I was like...
You didn't know some radio station in Idaho would ask you about it in 2022. There's no way.
Exactly. I got giggly, and I was like, Heisman, that would be cool. So I went for it.
Doug Flutie played for the Argonauts like you and also won the Heisman. Did you two ever cross paths? It seems like you kind of have some stuff in common.
We cross paths every year. He's a consistent contributor to the Heisman ceremonies each year in New York. And so we see each other every year up there.
It's Ricky Williams. He is a yoga instructor. I guess your son also his middle name is Forrest. That's my name too. So it's a pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Thank you, Forrest.